Imagine this. A group of colonies defying the most powerful empire of their time. The odds? Slim. The stakes? Everything. But they dared to dream of something impossible. Freedom. Now, here's a question for you. What's the price of liberty, and would you have paid it? Let's set the stage. The year is 1776. 13 colonies, each with their own ambitions, grievances, and fears, are united by one overwhelming frustration: the iron grip of British rule. Taxes without representation, laws dictated from across the ocean, and a king who seemed more tyrant than ruler. Can you imagine living under a system where your voice, your very existence, didn't matter? A system where freedom was just a word, a distant, unattainable idea? The men and women of that era weren't just rebels. They were visionaries. Thomas Jefferson, for example, penned words that would ignite a revolution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Equal? In a world dominated by monarchies and rigid class systems, that was radical. But did they truly believe it? Did they even fully understand the weight of those words? Maybe they didn't, but they were willing to fight for the chance to find out. Of course, declaring independence was the easy part. Winning it? That's where the story gets complicated. Think about it. A ragtag army of farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers facing off against the world's most disciplined military force. The British had ships, guns, and money. The colonies had conviction. Would conviction be enough? Then there's George Washington, a man who, let's be honest, probably questioned his life choices more than once. Picture him trudging through the freezing winter at Valley Forge, his soldiers starving, freezing, and deserting. Did he know they'd eventually triumph? Doubtful. But he held the line. Why? Because he believed. Not just in the cause, but in the people fighting for it. Now ask yourself, would you have stayed? Would you have endured? But here's where the story takes a twist. Victory didn't mean the struggle was over. In fact, it was just beginning. Winning freedom is one thing, building a nation is another. The Founding Fathers were visionaries, yes, but they were also human. They argued, they disagreed, they compromised. Imagine the heated debates in those stuffy rooms. Federalists versus anti-federalists. States' rights versus centralized power. And looming over it all was the unspoken question: could this grand experiment actually work? Benjamin Franklin famously quipped, "A republic, if you can keep it, keep it," as if freedom were something fragile, something that could slip through your fingers if you weren't careful. And he was right. The Constitution wasn't just a blueprint, it was a gamble. A bet on the people, on us. Fast forward to today, and here we are. The United States of America, a nation born from rebellion, forged in sacrifice, and shaped by ideals that were, and still are, revolutionary. But let's not romanticize it too much. The vision of the founders wasn't perfect. It excluded many. Women, enslaved individuals, Native Americans. Their fight for equality and representation is still ongoing. So, where does that leave us? Here's a thought. What would those founders say if they could see us now? Would they be proud? Disappointed? Or would they simply remind us that the work of building a nation is never truly done? Because here's the kicker. The story of America isn't just history. It's a challenge, a call to action, a reminder that every generation has a role to play in shaping the future. So, as you go about your day, ask yourself, what's your role in this story? Because if there's one thing history teaches us, it's this. Independence isn't just something we celebrate. It's something we fight for, every single day. And the best part? The next chapter hasn't been written yet. That's up to us.